So hello and welcome everyone. My name is Anupriya Pandey. I'm a writer, editor and podcaster at Inkfeathers Publishing. So today's session is going to be a very interesting one. We are going to talk to the author of a beautiful, beautiful book, which is a collection of many mesmerizing and fascinating poems. So the book begins with two lines, which I personally found very beautiful. So how vast is the universe that we live in, and how vast is the one that we can imagine? So this is how the book begins. Tell me, how would somebody not want to read it till the end? So today we have with us Ziad Dib-Jirish, the author of the book The Nightingale. Make sure you stick till the end of this session because you'll have a lot to take from this. So Ziad is from Lebanon. I'm very pleased to welcome you here, Ziad. And
hello, Anupriya.
Hello. So in the beginning, I would want to ask from you your own story. Please tell us a little about yourself and a little about your life there.
Okay. First of all, thank you for this beautiful introduction. Well, my name is Ziad from Lebanon. I work as a nurse in the hospital. I'm a specialized nurse in cardiac care. And I grew up in a village in North Lebanon called Kusba. We have there a valley and a river, so I got connected a little bit with nature while growing up.
Yeah.
And I've got influenced by my father, who was a teacher. So he kept telling me quotes and verses of poetry. So I grew up learning how to think in a quotes mindset and poetry and deep thinking, if you want.
Yeah. So that is how you started writing?
Exactly. My father died in 2004, but I keep hearing his voice and the poetry he used to say to me.
Wow. Yeah, that happens actually, right? Because that is also how I won't say that I'm a writer, but that is how my interest for literature began. Because people elder to me used to recite poems and used to tell about all these stories. So exactly. I can relate to that. Actually, I was going to ask this only. Do you remember when you started writing? How did you get into it?
Yes, sure. While my first author that I used to love to read is Gibran, and still he's my favorite Lebanese author. His name is Gibran Khalil Gibran. Do you know him?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, firstly, I got influenced by my father and by Gibran's writing. So, I started writing, let's say 10 to 15 years ago, in Arabic, only in Arabic. But the works of Gibran led me to investigate more his work. And I knew that Gibran's work was divided into Arabic and English. He wrote many books originally in English. So believe it or not, I learned English specifically to investigate more and to study more the work of Gibran Khalil Gibran. So I went from his Arabic work into the English work. For example, the Prophet by Gibran and Sand and Foam. This is another book written in English. So I just wanted to learn more English, just to study more this particular poet or writer.
That's great. Okay.
Yes. And then I went from Gibran to English poets like William Wordsworth and William Blake. Actually, I read somewhere who were the influencers of Gibran.
Okay.
And they say that Gibran used to read William Blake. So, okay, if Gibran used to read William Blake, I will go to William Blake too. So I went to William Blake, William Wordsworth, all the romantics. The
Wow.
romantics.
So you are influenced
Yes.
by the romantics.
Absolutely. Nature, always. Nature and love. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Thank you.
Like writing can be a hobby. You have been doing that for a very long time now. But then how did you decide to get into the publishing process? When did you decide that I want my work to be published? I want the people to read it. When did that happen? Or how did that happen?
You are right. This is a very nice question, by the way. Lots of people write, but few publish their work. I honestly encourage all people to publish their work because I think publishing is like a two-edged sword. It's like you cut with two sides. Firstly, it helps you promote your work. There is no better, more professional way than publishing to promote your work. Firstly.
Right.
Secondly, it protects your work because there is a lot of thieves of intellectual property. So maybe anyone can go through my Instagram account and say, okay, this poem is mine. No, it's not yours. I've been published. So it's
Right.
protected. So it's very nice to be published.
Yeah, screenshotting and uploading, that is what goes on these days. So are you on Instagram?
Sadly, I accidentally lost my poetry account. I used to have 4.8k followers. So I was going, I wanted to disable it temporarily, so I don't know what happened. I lost it. Now I'm using my personal one with 200 followers maybe, only.
So do you post poetries there?
Yes, of course.
Nice. And what about this book? When did you start writing it? Is this a collection of the poems that you have been writing for a long time, or did you write them specifically for this book?
Okay, actually these poems are the first ones that I wrote in English.
Okay.
And it's a collection between the poems of my own stories and the stories of my friends. Life events, life circumstances, bad ones, good ones, joyous, maybe a little bit sad. So it's a collection. For example, the death of my father led me to write a poem for that. The death of my sister also. The love that I felt one day. The story of my friends' love also. So it's a collection of feelings, if you want.
Yeah.
Experiences of my own self and my friends, members of my family too.
Yeah, so how did the title come up? The Nightingale?
Oh, the title, yes. The title, well, I think because poetry differs a little bit from writing. Poetry is writing, but a very special form of writing. It has some rhyme in it.
Yeah,
it has some music in it. It sounds differently. So a nightingale is a singing bird, right? Okay, so I feel poets are nightingales because they sing, just as the birds.
Yes.
And also they are vastly misunderstood. So when you hear a nightingale singing, do you understand what the nightingale is saying? No. You maybe think that this bird is happy. The bird may not be happy,
sad,
but still singing. Yes. So poets really are vastly misunderstood. That's what I think. So that's why I think a poet is a nightingale. He's singing, always singing.
I think writing a poem is very difficult because like according to me, writing stories is a bit easier because in poems you say a lot in just 2 sentences. There is a lot to that. There is a deeper meaning, and there is a lot in just 2 words, maybe. Just like you said, the Nightingale. There's a lot in that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Writing stories demands skills. Definitely. But as you said, poetry is a little bit more. Can I give an example?
Yeah.
A small one. So if let's say that I love the rain, I can say that I feel bliss when the rain falls. When the rain falls on my eye, I feel bliss. I'm happy. I can say this, but I can also say that this rain has blessed my mood, and I bless the rain on my weary eye.
Okay, what does that mean?
So this rain, yes, it sounds. This rain has blessed my mood, and I bless the rain on my weary eye. So it has rhyme, it has structure. It sounds differently. It's like music.
Right. Obviously,
yes.
It does make sense.
I always say that poetry must be read and heard too. If you do not hear poetry and you enjoy hearing it, it's not poetry. It's prose, which is perfectly fine, but that's what the first poetry. It can be read with the beauty of hearing too, not only reading.
Yeah, definitely. It does make sense. So had you already decided on the name, the title, or did you decide at the end of the book, after completing the book?
Well, no, I decided the name maybe before completing the book, because for long I consider poets like birds. So I said
so you
to myself,
always wanted your first book to be called The Nightingale. Okay.
You're right. I told myself, when this is done, this will be called The Nightingale. Exactly.
And how was your journey writing the book? Like, completing a book is a journey. Reading one is definitely. So writing one must be a longer one. So how was your journey like?
Well, my journey was like phases of, if you want, phases of moods and of joy and sorrow. So the book is a collection of poems. They are not really connected with each other. Okay. So maybe 2-3 poems are really happy, 2-3 poems are really sad. When I'm sad, I made some. When I'm happy, I made some. The journey was like a visit to the nature. You go into a valley for once, up a hill once, mountain once, beneath a tree with a shade, maybe in the sun, lots of heat. So it's a mixture of feelings.
So do you remember your state of mind while writing any of the poems that are there in the book, what you were going through, or something that you can share, any memory connected with the book?
Well, yes, I do remember many, actually. I can share one. I can share the poem.
Share as many as you want.
Thank you. The poem, The Lot of a Sister. This is a poem written on the occasion of the death of my sister. I lost my sister to cancer in 2008. So I wrote a poem. I wrote that it is a little story about 2 roses. They were living together, and one collector came and plucked the 2 roses from their plant. So one rose went to a funeral, and the other one went to a wedding. So these roses were twins, but the universe, or the fate of one, was to go to a funeral and to be put on a coffin. We put white rose on coffin, right? And the other one has the fate to be in a bouquet of a wedding bride. So this is life. You never know what will happen. So the name The Lot of a Sister, because I consider that this was the lot of my sister to be lost prematurely. That's it.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but like you had the power to convert your grief into something beautiful that can reach to people. That is a really big thing.
Thank you. Exactly. By the way, the book begins happily. It converts in the middle, and a little bit it converts to be a little bit sad towards the end. I arranged the poems to be like that.
Okay. That is how life goes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So while writing the poems, did you ever experience a writer's block? If you did, how did you overcome it? Did you ever feel like you should write, but you were not able to write?
Well, this is a very nice. Thank you for this very nice question. Actually, I didn't even know about this term, writer's block. But a few months ago, I read it, and I was like, it's normal, because in all phases of life, growth is always in phases. Look at the nature. There is spring, winter, summer. So you cannot write all the time. No one can work all the time. So writer's block, it's the natural phase of maybe resting, a natural phase. I think it's a cycle. So I don't consider it a block. I consider it like the waves of the sea. You cannot have always waves coming to the shore. The one wave, then you have rest 2-3 seconds, then another wave.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to describe it.
Yeah, and you have sometimes a high tide, sometimes a low tide. It's nature.
Yeah.
You cannot always have water, same amount of water, and the same space of sand. So that's it. It's a continuous cascade of phases. So writer's block is a natural rest. That's it. Accept it. I accept writer's block. It's not a block. It's just a nature.
It's a process.
To rest. Yes, it's a process. I want to rest a bit. Okay, fine.
I think nowadays artists doing anything, they live in a constant pressure because they think that they are expected to create something on a regular basis, like on Instagram or on any other platform. So I think this is something to worry about. We should not look at art like we need to create it at a regular time. We need to get it out there. So this is something that is going on. So do you have something to say about that?
I can say that you're perfectly right about this. We should not pressurize ourselves. It's not a duty to write. If you feel like writing, go on. If you don't feel like, don't pressurize yourself. Don't put that big pressure, because writing is, as you said, writing and painting and all forms of art are ways of expression. So when someone expresses himself or herself is when they need to. So if you need to express yourself, go on, express. Write, paint, sculpt, dance, sing. If you don't need to express yourself, don't. You don't have to. That's it.
Live simply. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And you also paint, right? You're a painter too.
Yes.
So, like I already asked you, do you think there is a similarity between your paintings and your writings, or do you feel that your state of mind is somewhat same when you are doing any of these art forms?
Well, the link between the two began first when I read William Blake.
Okay.
Because William Blake was a very successful and skilled poet, and he included paintings and drawings in his work. So he was a painter and a writer. So that motivated me at the beginning, because lots of painting are really, for example, in the book you can see the painting called The Curse of the Albatross. It's a painting inspired by the poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Rhymes of the Ancient Mariner, if you know it. So this is directly linked to poetry, a painting inspired by a poem.
Yeah.
There's another painting that's called William and Dorothy Wordsworth. I painted William Wordsworth, which is a famous poet. I painted him and his sister while visiting a lake in UK. I painted the moment when he got inspired to write his famous poem, The Daffodils. So I painted him, his sister, and the field of daffodils beside the lake. So yes, my paintings are directly related to poetry, yes.
Nice. Yes. Wow, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what would you say, what does writing mean to you? Personally, what is writing for you? When do you do it? I hope you get the question.
Yes, I got it, yes. Where writing is not a duty, it will never be a duty. It is to me a space for expression. A space that I use when I need to. It's like imagine I'm sitting in a hot summer day and there is a window beside me. So when I need fresh air, I open the window. This is writing. I open the window to get fresh air, to get a little bit of my stress out. This is a way to express myself, to relieve myself. This is writing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of writers say that it's a means to release what is there in the heart, in the mind.
Exactly. Because the way of expression may not be suitable to all people. And you cannot just go and speak to people and say your thoughts. Writing allows you to say those thoughts to an invisible crowd of people, invisible audience. You write to invisible audience, but you write your exact thought and what you really want to say. And when you write what you really want to say, you express yourself and you get released, of course.
So how does it feel to see people reading your poems? How is that feeling, or looking at your paintings?
Well, it feels great, honestly, but more like I would like to have a review from people.
Okay. Yeah.
It's okay if they don't like, but if they don't like and they want to criticize something, I would love to know what is it, because we always learn and we always look for better. So I would love to hear from people the feedback.
So everybody who would be watching this is for you. The book is available on Inkfeathers store and on Amazon. So if you still haven't bought it, go there, explore it, and write a review. Give us the feedback.
Please tell me what you think about it.
Right. So do you have the book, or do you have any piece of writing with you right now which you can recite? Is it possible for you right now?
Honestly, I don't have any.
Okay, no problem. I know you are at your workplace. It must be difficult.
Yes, that's it.
Anything else that you would want to?
By the way.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm working. My second book will be filled with sonnets. It's a form of poetry. It's Shakespearean sonnets. My first book does not include any of the sonnets, but my second one will include maybe 25 to 30 sonnets.
I have read some of your poems, and just so you need a feedback, I won't say that I know about poems a lot, but I found them really beautiful, and it got me into thinking about a lot of things. So those that were available for on the website only. There are 1 or 2 poems that we can read before buying the book. So I went through them and they are really beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. Which one? Do you remember the title?
I read them yesterday. I don't remember that. I'll tell you. Just wait.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just because you needed a review. And I'm sure many people must have shared with you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Anything else that you'd want to share, that you'd want to tell the listeners who would be watching this?
Well, I want to share that for all those who think that they are maybe writers or not, please, if you write something, if you want to write something, go on, write them. Write your thoughts. If you like to paint, don't hesitate. Paint. Whatever you like. Express yourselves. And if you have some writings, please publish it. Yeah, publish your writings. Show us your paintings. Do not light the candle and put it underneath a table or in the closet. Write, paint, express yourself, and let your candle be visible. So I encourage people to express themselves, to share their thoughts, and to just to be themselves. That's it. And thank you very much. By the way, I want to also share that Inkfeathers is a very professional team.
Thank you so much.
All the journey was really, really professional, very friendly approach. Follow up is amazing. And sometimes I forgot to reply, or I forgot the email. So you keep following up and you keep reminding me, and you are so patient. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That means a lot. So I read The Birth of a Nightingale and Northern Eyes. I read 2 of these poems. And yeah,
Great.
These are beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking out your time on a very busy day, I think, and sharing all of that. Thank you so much.